Hi everybody. I wanted to do a video tonight and share my story. And if it helps anyone to hear my story, then I have accomplished my goal. Not only do I want to share my story, but I also want to bring forward a point. And so first and foremost, I'm going to tell you my story, and then I'm going to bring my point forward that I want to talk about. And those points are why it is important that you do not make people who gain weight feel like they are less of a person because they have a bigger body. Because they still have the same mind, the same heart, the same soul, no matter what size their body is. And stop associating size with beauty. Stop associating size with intelligence. Stop associating size with importance. Because as a woman, I am no less important than any other human being on this planet just because I am considered obese. So with that being said, I also want to say that every person who gains weight has a reason. And that reason is not because they're lazy. It's not because they are undisciplined. It's not because they just don't care. It's because something has happened to them in their lives that has affected them so profoundly that their way of thinking was altered, and food became their drug of choice, because that's what happened to me. I was not an overweight child. I will say that I developed faster than most of the girls my age, or most of the girls in my classroom. I was actually ahead of most of the girls in my classroom and boys because I'm a January baby. So of course I had to wait till the following August to go to school, to start school. So I was a lot older than most of my friends because a lot of my friends had earlier birthdays, like June, July, August, and they're going to school. So I'm quite a bit more advanced than them, age-wise as well, and plus I developed sooner. So I started wearing women's sizes in the 7th grade. I was wearing women's size 5 to a 6. Would I like to wear a size 5 to a 6 right now? Probably not, because, well, I know I wouldn't, because I would just feel too thin. Because I have not seen a size 5 since I was like 13 years old. So, but yeah, I was the one that developed early, but I was still thin, even though I was developed. I'll just say it like that. I was still thin. After I had my son, yes, I did gain some weight in pregnancy, but I got back thin again, you know. After my son, I think I was like wearing like a size 8 to a 9, depending on the brand of jean or whatever. And then things started happening in my life. My husband was diagnosed with brain cancer, which he later passed away from 4.5 years later. And I had all these feelings, you know, I was angry, I was hurt. I felt that God had let me down. And I couldn't understand. I did not understand. I didn't understand why he had died and that my son was not going to grow up being raised by his father. And all these things became an emotional barrier for me, and my way of thinking changed. I went through all these different states of depression. I went from just eating all the time, because that was my drug of choice. Food was my drug of choice. It made me feel good. While I was eating that food, it tasted good. I was worried, but it kind of pushed things to the back of my mind for a while. So I gained a lot of weight. And then after my husband passed away, I knew he had an illness that could not be cured. He had glioblastoma, which is grade 4 brain cancer. And after he passed away, I just felt so alone. And I went through a brief period where I was depressed in such a state that I stayed up all night, slept all day, and ate very little. And I lost a whole bunch of weight. Not the healthy way, but I lost it. And then I remarried. And on the beginning, my second husband was, he was okay. He had his quirks, but so does everybody. And then things just started changing, going downhill. There was mental abuse, somewhat physical. He didn't hit me or anything, but, just a lot of grabbing and throwing things and just things like that. A lot of yelling, saying demeaning things. I'm not attracted to you because of your weight, that sort of thing. And I finally got out of that situation because my weight yo-yoed up, down, up, down, up, down. And then I met my husband, and we have been happily married for 6.5 years. But still, my weight has yo-yoed up, down, up, down, up, down. And my husband, Paul, has loved me regardless. He has made me feel beautiful regardless of what size I am. He has never made me feel less important because I gained weight, or more important because I lost weight. Did he support me? Sure, he did. He supported me in any decision that I had to make. He's been wonderful to me, and I love him with all my heart. And I don't know what I would do without him, because he's my rock and he means so much to me. And he became the father that my child needed after his father passed away, because my second husband was not that at no point. And as far as that went, that helped a lot of my emotional scars that I had over my loss. And then my sister passed away in 2011 to a heart attack all of a sudden. And I watched my parents grieve over their child. I grieved over my sister. I watched her children grieve over their mother. I watched her husband grieve over his wife. I watched so many people go through so many different emotions over losing the same person. And losing my first husband and losing my sister are definitely emotional demons that I struggle with every day. And I know that that is what is behind my weight gain. And I know that's why I can't keep it off. I know how to lose the weight. I will lose the weight and then I gain it back every time. So, starting this YouTube channel and sharing my journey and sharing my story with you, I feel is a step that I need to take to get rid of these emotional scars. And in doing that, that's going to help me to be successful in my fitness journey and my weight loss. It's no longer about a number on the scale to me. Used to, when I would go on diets, I've been on all these diets, I have to do a lifestyle change and I have to make it something that's going to work for me. I have all these people saying, don't eat potatoes, don't eat this, don't eat pasta, stay away from bread. Uh, they're telling me, don't eat this, don't eat that. Well, that's not going to work for me because the food that I like includes pasta, includes bread. But I have modified it and changed it in such a way that it's helping me to lose weight. Because I've got to stay true to me. I've got to do what is going to work for me. I can't do what works for Tom or Sally. I've got to do what works for Penny. So I eat a lot of lean meats, vegetables, fruits. I eat whole grain bread, whole grain, whole wheat pasta, and a lot of yogurt. I love Greek yogurt, and it's got the protein that I need. And I feel like to hold myself accountable, that's why I also got the gym membership, because I'm not going to pay all this money every month and then not go. But if you don't ever make that commitment, then you don't have to, and you don't feel bad not doing it. You just don't. And not that I want to make myself feel bad, I want to hold myself accountable. So by saying all that, I think this channel is going to help me. And I think sharing my story with everyone is going to help me. Putting it out there. I have never, ever, ever put my weight out there for anybody to see. Nobody. But my doctor would know what I weighed sometimes. So doing that was a big step for me. That was a huge, major hurdle for me to cross. And I just want to be held accountable. I think that's what will help me personally and help me to be successful and stay successful. With that being said, I just want to say that a lot of friends I have would say, oh, I would join a gym and I would come work out with you, but I don't want to be made fun of. That really bothers me because overweight people do get made fun of. And it is a rational fear. Actually, it's irrational because I'm to that point in my life where if someone has the gall to say something to me about my weight, they better have the gall to accept what they're going to receive back from me. Because it won't be pretty. I promise you that. But don't judge a person who is overweight and just think that they got that way because they're lazy and because they don't care about themselves. Because that is the furthest thing from the truth that you can possibly label an overweight / obese person as. And that's why I wanted to share my story, because a lot of people have different things that they have went through that has caused their weight gain, but nobody sat down one day and said, you know what, I think I'm just going to gain so much weight that it hurts to run and it makes it impossible for me to bend over and tie my shoes without getting red in the face. Or I want to get so big that I need 2 airplane seats. Or, I want to get so big that I can't even fit in a ride at the fair anymore. No, nobody says that. So for anybody, no matter who it is, to make fun of someone or to make someone feel less important or to degrade anybody because of their weight gain, that doesn't say anything about that person's character that you are speaking down to, but it says 100% about yours. Because you're not helping that person. You're not. You are not helping that person. You're actually making matters worse for them because they already are feeling emotionally like they're not good enough. And then you come along and you say something like that to them, and that's just like pouring gasoline on a fire. You're making their insecurities grow, actually blow up out of proportion. And they get to the point to where they will never see themselves the way that even others do. I have lots of insecurities. For the longest time, I wouldn't even wear sleeveless shirts. You know what? This past summer, I rocked some sleeveless shirts. I didn't care. I rocked some short sleeves all the way up to here because I was so self-conscious about my weight gain, about how my arms looked. I didn't want to do it. So that's another step emotionally that I have taken that I did not take before. So I just wanted to get that across to you and just share that with you so that the next time you see someone who is overweight, maybe you didn't know them when they were thinner, or maybe they've been a little chubby all their life and they just got bigger and bigger and bigger. There's a reason behind everything. So don't go judging that person because they are not the ideal weight. Because you know what? Sometimes karma comes to get you. And when she does, it's not pretty. So always treat others with respect. Because that person's mind and soul and heart is always who they are. Not a number on a scale or what size pants they wear. So I just ask that you keep that in mind. And instead of hurting that person even more by ridiculing them, and I'm not saying that everybody who watches this video does that, but if I can reach that one person who thinks it's okay to do that to people and help them to understand, and even if you don't make fun of people, which I hope to goodness that you don't, but even if you're that person that doesn't say anything but you think it, that doesn't make you much better. And I'm just trying to help you to understand why people become overweight in the first place. There is always a reason, and it's not because they're lazy. So I just want you to think about that. And if you can walk away from this video and take away something that I've said to empower you, whether you're the person who's trying to lose weight or you're the person who maybe doesn't understand why people gain weight, or if you're that person who, God forbid you are, but if you're that person who degrades people or thinks lowly of people who are overweight, then if this video can help you to understand, then it was absolutely worth doing. So I just want to say thank you for watching. I just wanted to share my story, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate everybody's support on my channel, and just to everybody who has encouraged me. I've got so many encouraging messages, and people have just been reaching out to me, and I appreciate that so much. And so yeah, I'm going to close this video on that note, and I hope that this video helps you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.